My 11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live, powered in association with the Weather Channel, coming from beautiful Florida. We got a dreadful match. Zaheer Khan is alongside me, so is Aakash Chopra. I mean, it was a moist wicket. Getting runs wasn't easy. We got 193 runs in 38 overs, and not a single batsman could say, other than Kyron Pollard to some extent, that I actually got in and played well on it.
Well, I think it was one of the slowest T20 games, and
Thrill a minute, right?
Yeah,
T20 format, we didn't get a thrill in it.
and we were predicting, okay, maybe 12 overs, 13 overs, the game will finish, but that also wasn't the case. So surely there was something in the wicket. The wicket was too paced. You saw with Shikhar Dhawan's dismissal also, the ball skidded through. So wasn't really a kind of wicket where you can trust the pace, trust the bounce of the track, and do your shot making. So that is something which came out for sure once we see both the sides play on that track. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays tomorrow as well. Tomorrow certainly it will be a very
Drier surface, hopefully.
No,
But there's thunderstorms expected today.
Look, the wicket is not going to change much, but what will change is the approach of both the teams, because now they will be planning in this regard, understanding how one should go about putting on runs and what kind of total is ideal on this track. Today was a day where the team batting first was thinking, okay, it's a T20 format, we need 160, 170. Tomorrow, that will surely be not be the case. They will approach the game with, say, 130, 140 runs, and you will be able to certainly make a match out of it. That we've seen today with the kind of wickets were falling. It was like Rohit Sharma also tried to play that shot, trusting the wicket and the bounce, but the elevation he couldn't get because the ball skidded through. So that's something which tomorrow both the teams will take into account.
Akash, there's one dismissal. I'm looking down India's captain. India's one of the best batsmen in the world. Virat Kohli, 19 of 29 balls. 29 balls in a T20 game, you're in.
Yes, he was in.
And yet the shot that he was almost forced to play by the track didn't make him look like a world-class player. So it could be that the track was still troubling you. That's the point I was trying to make. Not the fact that Virat Kohli didn't look like a world-class player, but the fact that the track was making batsmen struggle even after you were in for 29 balls.
The ball was not coming onto the bat nicely, and yes, there was a dual pace, dual bounce on the surface, and that ball actually just gripped the surface a little more. Virat Kohli was not expecting the ball to stop on him, and therefore was a little too early to play that shot, and in the end just couldn't bail out. There was a shot mid-wicket in place, so he didn't even go ahead with his pull shot over the mid-wicket region. And the other thing that you can attribute this performance to is perhaps being a little rusty. Both these sides haven't played international cricket for a while now. The last one was in the World Cup. Different conditions altogether, different format. This is the newish team.
Different pressures as well.
Absolutely.
Can that almost take a little bit out of you? Saying, we worked so hard for the World Cup, and now, we're in Florida.
And then you want to actually just let loose. And this pitch didn't allow you to let loose at all. You had to apply even more. Pitches in England were testing. Of course, the format, the World Cup, and the pressure, all that was, of course, mounting with every passing game. But this was a pressure of a different kind. Something that you don't want to actually associate yourself with in a T20 game, because the memories of last time when you were in Florida, they come back to you quite quickly, that this is a good surface, 200 plus is there for the taking, so why not play your shots? Yes, West Indies perhaps were a little careless. We'll make amends, and we can still play the shots that we want to play. So that's what was found out in the end. And Virat Kohli, I think in a pre-match press conference, he was talking about one fielding session, one batting session. So if that's all you get before an international game, at times it can come back to bite you.
Manish Pandey batted 5, Rishabh Pant batted 4. I talked to Akash during Cricbuzz Combox. He likes to play that slog sweep shot. He gets a lot of runs with it, but he gets out with it too.
Well, that's been the case with many players in the past as well. If it's your style of play, and if you are a naturally aggressive player, then at times you look ugly as well. When you get out. But as a batsman, as a player, you have to always back your strengths, and that has been Rishabh's strength. What has been Rishabh's X factor He's got that ability to hit those sixes, and he's got that power. And in the process, at times he's going to get out as well. But when it comes good, we've seen what kind of damage he can do on that particular day. It's just about finding a way of getting that consistency up and picking those right deliveries to put out of the park, and that happens only with playing more and more matches.
Do you see this going ahead? Pant 4, Pandey 5? Because I was under the impression it would be Pandey 4, Pant 5. But do you see that going ahead? That Pant is being groomed as a long-term 4 in this form of game?
See, they do get tempted with a left-hander being in the middle.
Because he bats that number for Delhi Capitals as well, doesn't
If Shikhar Dhawan is still in the middle and people, right-handers around him have gotten dismissed, I think Rishabh Pant might just get pushed down the order a little more. Pandey may just come ahead of Rishabh Pant. Ideally, I would want him at 5, not at 4. No criticism, we've discussed this. So you live by the sword, you die by the sword and all of that. And that's his brand of cricket. But only one thing, because eventually you need to evolve, you need to progress, you need to get better. And where Rishabh can get better is just understanding the game awareness. Because if you're chasing 96 and you've lost a couple of wickets, there is enough time at your disposal. You can take your time, take singles, and play not so good looking innings once in a while. I think there is one not so good innings around the corner. It will happen. It happened in the IPL when he played against the RCB, not the last season but the season before that, where he looked ugly to begin with, and then but allowed himself that much time. So that will happen. We just have to be a little more patient, not just us, but the team as well, because it's the team that at times runs out of patience. So I hope that doesn't happen.
Zach, you like him 4, you like him 5?
I like him at 4, simply for the fact that those middle phase overs are very crucial. If you can if you can keep that tempo going through that middle phase, that just eases off those last 4-5 overs as well, to finish strong, because you usually have Hardik coming at that stage, so you have enough power at that stage, and bowlers are under pressure. So if you start putting that pressure from the middle phase, eventually you will end up scoring those 10-15 runs above par, and that's something which in a T20 format is huge, and that really decides the outcome of the match as well. So yes, Rishabh Pant at number 4 is good. It's just that he has to figure out a way of getting in. You've seen that too many times. He looks to take the bowlers on right from the word go. And that is something which he has to alter in terms of his thinking and approach to the game, because any batsman, once he's in, and especially the quality of Rishabh Pant, if he finds a way of seeing that initial phase off, I think he'll be the force to reckon with. And I think after a point, when you're new onto the scene, you can afford to make mistakes. But that margin gets shorter and shorter as you walk that path. So that
happens in every profession. When you're young, you're allowed to make mistakes. As you get older, you're not. The one thing that we will be certain of is that when these two sides meet again tomorrow, the West Indies will play one more spinner. India played 3, the West Indies played 1, and I'm just looking down the bowling card for the West Indies on the Cricbuzz app. 4 seamers. Look at the economy rates, 7.255, 6.96. The spinner had 2 for 14. When India bowled, I'm looking at Jadeja, 4 overs, 1 for 13. Krunal Pandya, 4 overs, 1 for 20. The West Indies were a spinner short, so maybe Khari Pierre. So Washington Sundar, 1 expensive over. That was probably the only expensive over of the match. And he went 2 overs, 1 for 18. Otherwise, it was a spinner's game. Right, so who was the MVP? The My 11 Circle presents MVP. There was only one batsman who got past the 20s, and that was Kieron Pollard. He made run a ball 49 when the run rates were under 6, about 5-ish and over. So he was the most valuable player. Sometimes you tend to give the award to someone who's from the winning side, but the numbers are showing that he was elite performance.
And then when you talk about fantasy cricket, because that's where
you also scored the most points.
That's the thing, and that also tells you a story. Actually, it's a lesson for everyone else involved in the game, and I'm sure they'll take cues from how Kieron Pollard actually played, because it was against his natural play. He's an a naturally aggressive batsman. He can take the attack to the opposition. He can deposit the ball into the stands very often, and he did that towards the latter half of his innings. But he also allowed himself time to just settle down, and that's exactly what the pitch actually demanded. And he's shown everybody a template how to bat on this surface. Don't look at 150, 170. If the pitch is moist, play the conditions, not the format. We discussed on this show earlier as well. Karen Pollard, without doubt, 49 or 49, not bad.
The coach is sitting next to you and thinking maybe number 4 next April. Maybe number 4 next April when he turns up at the IPL, Karen Pollard.
But he's got a few KPs.
He's got lots. He's sitting on riches.
Karen Pollard. He's got a few KPs.
Yeah, he's
KP
sitting.
and HP.
KP
Yeah,
and
there
HP.
you go. He's sitting on riches. Now you can play. You can play as well. We've got our own game, isn't it? We've been telling you how to play the game, so you can beat the expert too. Now remember, there's many ways of playing this, and right through the World Cup, we had awards. He won 1 crore. Tufan Ghosh of West Bengal. Remember, the tournament is on. The Beat the Expert Champion Series is on here as well. So you can keep playing right through this tournament. And who knows, somebody might knock at your door and say, here's your prize. So you never know. You never know what happens. All-rounders. At the heart of T20 cricket, India played 3 spin bowling all-rounders. We talked about the fact that in the World Cup that was a bit of a shortcoming. But here you had 3 spinners, each of whom batted. And actually, they didn't do too badly. Actually, I'm looking down how many runs they made. Krunal Pandya 12, Ravindra Jadeja 10, Washington Sundar 8. It's that kind of game. 30, one-third, they made one-third of the runs.
So yeah, aren't we just setting the bar a little too low when we're saying 10, 12, 8? Oh yes, you had actually had a good game. Because
10, 12, 8 out of 90. There you go.
it was that kind of a game. But then, it shouldn't have come down to them. Let's be fair. If you lose 5 wickets, West Indies was guilty of losing 5 in the first 6. India did also lose 5 wickets. Of course, they took a little longer to lose those 5. And that can happen when you're chasing and you're not chasing a huge total. It should not have come down to Krunal Pandya and Ravindra Jadeja and Washington Sundar to finish this game off. But then in the end, they did the job. Out of the 3, I thought Krunal Pandya was perhaps the shiniest star because he's someone who looked set while he was there and he got a Jaffa.
He played 14 balls though.
The ball that
got a good
was
one,
a wicket-taking ball. There were not too many wicket-taking balls on show throughout the game, but that one ball deserved a wicket. Pitched in line, hit the top of off. You can't do much if you get a ball like that. That was a top ball to dismiss Krunal Pandya, who looked very good.
Okay, we have that was the first of 3 games in this series. Remember, 2 of them being played in Florida. The third, you go over to Guyana, onto mainland South America, remember. Now, that game is tomorrow. And Zach, they're playing on the same surface. It's confirmed they are playing on the same surface. There were thunderstorms forecast. I don't know if the thunderstorms will actually arrive. Luckily, the game finished before that. Would that have implications for how the track's going to play?
I think tomorrow
if it's under covers, yeah.
It should play better is what I'm getting a feeling, because maybe the rain was there in the previous 2 days, and that's something which
it was under covers for a long time.
Yeah, didn't give groundsmen also enough time to prepare the wicket in better way. Few more rounds of rolling and the surface will be different. It looked like a nice and sunny day today. It was hot and humid. By the looks of it, you saw all the experts also sweating it out there with their shirts, getting all these sweat patches.
I think we are a little more comfortable here.
Yeah, we're always comfortable. Closer to the home as well,
Yes.
so that's always an advantage. But I think tomorrow with more rounds of some rolling on this track, and it should play better than what it played today.
Changes for you tomorrow?
No, it's a 3-match.
What did we learn? What did we learn
That's
from
the problem. So when you are playing only a 3-match series, and whoever you go with in the first game, I think you're obliged to play the same 11 in the following game at least. Just to be fair, unless the conditions have told you something radically different, that no, 3 fast bowlers can't work, 3 spinners can't work, and you want to play a different combination. Other than that, there is no reason for you to actually tinker with the playing 11, because you won't be fair on either of the two, the one who's coming in or the one who's going out, because whoever comes in will only get a couple of games. So might as well, whoever has played the first game should play the second game. And when we talk about playing on the same surface, this pitch was moist. One was the reason could have been of course the rain and undercovers, but also when as a groundsman you know that you have to actually organize 2 games on the same surface, you tend to leave a little more moisture than it is needed for one game. So therefore, rain just added to the problems. So it should be a slightly better surface to play T20 cricket, because T20 cricket, the heart and soul of T20 cricket is some amount of stroke making. A 90 or 120 kind of pitch is not good enough.
He wanted to say lot of stroke making, and then he suddenly realized Zach is sitting next to him. some amount of stroke playing. But maybe the West Indies will play Harry Pierre. We've seen Harry Pierre bowling as a left-hander. But would you make changes to that?
Well, if Harry Pierre is coming in, then
Maybe they drop the opener and move Sunil Narine to open the batting?
that's what I was thinking. That's possibly the option which West Indies have if they feel that the surface requires one more spinner. So that's the only option which we see. Otherwise,
India?
They would also want to stick with the same playing 11.
India, you won't make any changes?
Never break the winning combination. Why? I mean, you had a good outing by most of the bowlers there, and yeah, batting also, like one innings is too less to judge anyone. And I think particularly the be it Rishabh Pant or Manish Pandey, you don't want to disturb those top three.
No.
There is no discussion. Their repetition precedes themselves. So that's something which they'll continue with. So I think you won't see any changes in that.
So that's the view of our experts. If you're playing tomorrow, you of course have enough time to pick your side. But if you're playing tomorrow, this is how you go about playing it. Go to my11circle.com, and if you haven't already downloaded the app, go ahead and do it, and then pick your side, select a match, and go ahead and start. We've got a batsman and a bowler, and both of them agree. It's rare that batsmen and bowlers agree, but batsman and bowler both agreed that probably will not be too many changes, maybe West Indies one. What about the weather itself? Remember, there's the Weather Channel on our program as well, and the Weather Channel is telling us tomorrow morning scattered thunderstorms, 50% chance of rain, afternoon 55%. Doesn't matter in the evening, they won't be playing till evening. So this is from the Weather Channel, the world's most downloaded weather app, and it's telling us chance of rain 50% in the morning and 55% in the afternoon. I said we won't get to the evening.
Let's hope that we don't get to the evening.
Did you
because the game is delayed.
Did you hear the person next to you saying little more heavy rolling and little more sun on it? The forecast is saying there's going to be rain. There's going to be little. No, but tell me, both of you have played on moist tracks. If the surface is a little moist, and now if there is fear of rain, they'll cover it again.
After few rounds of rolling. Today, don't forget, they got whole day to roll today.
Yeah.
So
the forecast was for rain.
We are now getting ready to go to bed, but they'll still have plenty of time to make sure that wicket is ready for tomorrow.
Right, we had the Joy Factor as well for you, didn't we? Who was the winner of the Joy Factor? Here's the question for you. It was a very interesting one from Joy. The most recent achievement of England's highest wicket taker in the 2000 Under-19 World Cup. Now, Akash had a clue. I had a clue as well. I said, if he's 2000 Under-19 World Cup, the only one who could conceivably be playing for England was Jimmy Anderson. It wasn't Jimmy Anderson. It was, in fact, Tim Murtagh of Ireland, who took 5 wickets against England at Lord's. It was a very funny game in that the number of first-class matches played at Lord's, Ireland had more caps than England did, because Tim Murtagh played all his cricket up at Lord's, and he got helpful conditions. So there you are. That was the answer. TJ Murtagh, 37, 38 years old, making his debut, picking up 5 wickets. Gee, happens to everybody. The dream can come true. Who won it? Let's find out if it's any one of our usual suspects. Shriyam, okay, that's all right. Shriyam Nigam answered that correctly, and Joy, you put your thumbs up. Shriyam Nigam also put his thumb. You're on the right track.
I was on the right track.
You're a quizzer. You're this.
No, I'm not actually. I went to Google.
The one thing I will assure you about Cricbuzz Live is if you're all very honest, we tell it exactly as it is. So there you are. That was what we had today. It was the first of 3 T20 internationals. There's going to be 3 more one-day internationals, Guyana, and then you play 2 in Trinidad. And we'll, of course, be here with My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live in association with the Weather Channel. And all I will tell you tomorrow is if you get a full game, it's not difficult to be a better game than today. It wasn't the best T20 game in the world, but hopefully we'll have a better game tomorrow. Aakash Chopra, Zaheer Khan will be with us as well. So do join us for Cricbuzz Live. You're not there tomorrow. Where are you off to?
Chilling at home.
Oh, okay. There you go. I
Sunday
thought-
tomorrow.
Oh, look at that.
Some people have the luxury of enjoying a
Ah,
leisurely Sunday.
Joy Bhattacharya joins us because, Zaheer Khan is this chilled out guy. He's always been that way. So Joy Bhattacharya will join us tomorrow along with Aakash Chopra.
Hardworking
So there you
Aakash
will.
Chopra. Hardworking Aakash Chopra.
The hardworking Aakash Chopra, yes. So we'll do join us tomorrow. We'll join you at 7:30. Game due to start at 8 o'clock. For now, it's good night.